in the grand scheme of things, I really don't care that we had a UFC style fight on the front lawn of the White House. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, we can point at things from history and, like, oh, this is the fall of Rome and whatever. I do believe that, yeah, America has, it's being recognized more for what it really is. And a failing empire, and I think, well, in part to do with the idiots running the show. But here's the problem with that as well. If they're idiots, if they are idiots, what are we? Right? We allowed this to happen. If we are smart enough to know better, right? We hold the right positions, the justifiable positions. How did we let this happen? And how are there so few of us, right? If we are so smart, and we can, for just because I don't want to. I don't even believe it in this whole concept of smart whatever. There's obviously going to be different standards and different criteria from whoever you ask. So whatever to all that. What I'm getting at obviously is that there's a lot of people that are kind of up their own ass on our side of the fence. About the right ways to do things, to handle this situation, and it's really, really gotten on my nerves for a long time. Because no, voting is not going to fix this. The effects are cascading, and it's... I mean, we could look at best and worst case scenarios. It's a lot of what I like to do when I'm assessing things like this. And I'd love for some back and forth on this, because I'm going to say things that are incorrect or could very well be incorrect. And some pushback on those things can help me to inform my position. And that's really what I like to do. I want to build onto my position and have those discussions. So I'm opening that up, and I think in the near future, in between me kind of throwing some applications out, I want to start up a new Discord that's separate from Crisp, and just allow for that to occur in discussion form. I'm not debate bro guy. I'm not sitting there doing all this research and trying to figure out the best way to deliver an argument and own your ass, because I mean, listen how I sound when it's just me. But no, I wanted to make it clear that it doesn't do the world, yourself, or anybody around you any good to be so smug. We need action. They have that, at least. Let's just boil it down to the smarts and the dumbs without all of the caveats and nuance. So the dumbs, right? They are perfectly fine just rushing in head first without knowing what's around that corner. And we are so timid, the smarts. I'm just going to say, leftists is what I'm mostly referring to. Those on the left, we spend a lot more time thinking, but I don't think we spend enough time introspecting and assessing all of these things, and boiling it down, a lot of times I think we miss the forest for the trees. And we lean too heavily on institutional knowledge that sort of allows us to stop assessing things. We kind of like, okay, I understand the system, these things, or this specific field well enough to know that, I'm correct. But somehow we forget that action is required. Otherwise, like, what does it mean? They can get a lot of dumb shit done because they're actually trying to do it. Self-preservation. They need a little bit more of it. We need a little bit less of it. Because we could critique them for being, rugged individualists and only being self-interested, but if we are so self-interested that we can't enact the things that we know, we're fucking lazy and disinterested. And you know what? I'm thinking back to just yesterday. I was just kind of peeked in on Vosh's stream, a video game stream. He was playing like Resident Evil 9, something like that. And I pop in there to fucking like, I don't know, just be neurotic and just say off the wall shit. But whatever. As long as I don't get banned, I guess, then whatever. If I do, then damn. What was I saying? Yeah. His point on leftists not wanting to work, this sort of like desire, which I would agree with that. At first, I was kind of like, well, hold on, you're basically saying, we need to want to work in this system, and granted, you have to a degree before you can like make things happen. But I think that the point at which we take more action and do less prep work should be drawn back. Where I think that maybe in his headspace it's still a little further out there, like it's just not quite time, the material conditions aren't ready yet for that action to take place. And meanwhile, every day that goes by that we don't take action, we look at the news and we are more fucked than the day before. So no, we do need to be willing to sacrifice some comfort. And you know what? The beautiful thing about that is when we go to sacrifice the comforts that we know, we are going to find new comforts. Alright? There's going to be new hardships. But I promise there will be new comforts. Something that I do often is look to the future, and it helps me with everything I do. Buying this house, working on every project for 2 years, tearing it up and rewiring the whole fucking thing. 4-bedroom, full-on house, by myself. Nobody fucking came by to help with shit. I did get some help with like food and things like that with when I would run into hard times, for my families. But aside from that, the thing that drove me through all of that is looking to the future and knowing that I'm going to be more comfortable one day and I'm going to find new comforts, and in the moment I can look to that thought and find comfort in that, despite looking at the walls and the disgust. And I mean, I moved into this place. Now, the reason I was able to get such a big place by myself was because the last people were fucking, they fucked it up. They were doing drugs in here. They had like 7 people living inside, a guy living in the shed. There was bad mouse infestation. I got pictures of all that. I, of course, worked it into the deal with to have the exterminators, and there was some plumbing stuff that needed done. So there was a few things that got worked into the sale to come out of that, closing them out. But roaches, bad roach infestation, and I moved in during that while the roaches were still dying, like after the first waves of that, where I sort of came in, here and there to clean up after that stuff while they were dying, and then after about a week or two, I've moved in, but there were still roaches. It just wasn't nearly as bad, and the first massive wave of them were like, I might show that sometime. But through all of that, I looked to the future. And I knew that things were going to get better. I demanded it. And I took action in my environment to make sure of that. Now, I haven't seen a roach around here in years. Not a mouse. None of it. I have a garden that I dreamt of for so long. It's not to the exact specifications that I designed on paper, but that doesn't matter because it's a garden, and I'm growing things, and I'm going to show all of that. We can't keep delegating our responsibilities away. That's just not going to work. It hasn't worked, for fuck's sake. We need to take more action, more direct action, and if we are going to be putting people in positions to represent us, just as the stupids did, we need to set an example of what happens when they stop doing their job. Because hey, we stop doing our fucking jobs, we starve. We don't get fucking medical care. Right? We become destitute, and we're trying to, help our family. Why should they get fucking buku bucks for doing jack shit as far as representing the people? It comes down to us. It always does, it always will. Fuck you if you think otherwise. If you think you can skirt by and not accept responsibility, because even if you just you're just doing good for yourself and your family, and you just don't want to pay you want to complain about, like, oh man, that Trump guy, oh man, my local right wing, what do we call it? House rep or whatever, they're a real piece of shit. It's like, okay, but what are you doing about it? I'm paying my taxes. Fuck off. Voting. Unreal. No, we need to get together. And you know what? There's a risk involved in that. That's why the more of us that stop pussyfooting around and get to task about what's important. It's enough time bitching about it, alright? Connect with your neighbors, talk about it, and openly talk about it, because you know what? At a certain point, the risk of having the discussion is not going to be your top priority. It's getting your family the fuck out of wherever you are. It's getting yourself out of the fuck of wherever you are because of the pogroms and shit. have some fucking balls. Like I said, if you aren't taking action in this direction, if you are just simply standing by and trying to operate within the system under this oppression, and it is oppression, every aspect of it, the fact that we have a society that pays for our fucking roads so we can get to work faster, but not food for your family and your neighbors, what the fuck? You're putting them at danger by participating in that and not doing anything else to make a better world. So fuck you, fuck us. We need to start growing some balls.